Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
It's Waffle Box time.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It
Gets the people going.
You know what old Jack Burton always says at a time like this?
My crotch is itchy.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. Now don't call me Shirley.
What would you do if you had $1 million?
2 chicks at the same time, man.
Just thank the Lord she didn't live to see her son as a mermaid.
You killed a hooker!
Call girl!
No,
she was
Cyril, when they're dead, they're just hookers.
This time we are sure she's a woman, right?
Why do you want to listen to the TV with the stereo on?
Because I like to party.
Let's do this!
Welcome to Waffle Box, the podcast where we talk about anything, everything, and nothing all at the same time. My name is Mike Fish, and I'm joined by Kush Hayes. Coming up on episode 15, we have the Nirvana baby being a baby. Of course, we have Kush's movie review, Woman Fights a Mountain Lion, and so much more. With that kind of intro, you got to be hyped for the show. Kush, how you doing, my man? How you been since 7 days ago?
What's good, y'all? I am doing fantastic, Mike. Long weekend. I actually got to work for the Mouse House in Oakland this weekend, and it was one of those things where it was like the first day was only 6 hours, but then the next day was 16 hours.
Ooh.
And to be fair, super easy day, but just those days are long, regardless.
And for those that don't know, including me, what is the Mouse House?
I was working for ESPN this weekend and at the Oakland A's versus the New York Yankees series.
Why do they call it the Mouse House?
Disney owns them.
Oh,
I'm sorry, you didn't know that. Okay.
No, I didn't. I just thought we had like a really bad infestation or something.
No. Well, it is Oakland also, but no. Disney owns ABC, which owns ESPN, which was broadcasting Sunday Night Baseball.
Yeah, I knew that. I thought you meant like they owned the Oakland A's or something.
Not yet, but they did do a movie in Oakland, Angels in the Outfield, despite being the then California Angels in the team in the film.
I vaguely remember that movie. Mm-hmm. Don't ask me to say who's in it or what it's about, but the name.
Tony Danza and a baby Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Wow, he's gone to do some things.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously,
Danny Glover too. Shit.
Danny Glover, the man who's too old for this shit, not to be confused with Donald Glover,
mm-hmm.
who's
also getting up there now. Let's just be real. He's in his 30s. He's feeling those aches in the morning.
Speaking of which, talking about who's up in their 30s, yours truly.
That's right, man. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
What'd you do?
Well, okay, so for the weekend.
Happy birthday.
Cheers. Clink. So for the weekend, we just went into Brooklyn, stopped off some breweries, had a very fancy dinner, nice Italian. Had some, what was it? Was it I'm trying to think what animal it was now. But it was something funky.
Okay.
It was like an Italian sauce made with, I don't want to say bison. It wasn't a bison. But it was something like intro. It was like, ooh, never had that before.
Okay.
It was very
ostrich?
No, no, it's not going to come to me. It's not going to come to me.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very good. And then on my actual birthday, like a rock and roll star, I just got some Chipotle, a 6-pack of beer.
Okay.
And an ice cream cake, and I just sat down and ate and drank and watched TV.
Okay.
It was actually a really nice birthday. Just like, I'm not going to do anything because I don't have to.
I can't endorse your habit of Chipotle, but I'm glad you had your best day.
Well, so for the West Coast, because you're familiar with In-N-Out Burger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
it's overrated. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
You know, folks, it's not hard to make a fucking hamburger.
No,
I'll break it down to you.
But so the East Coast version would be Shake Shack.
We had a Shake Shack.
Oh, you had? What did you do with it? You lose it?
It closed. No one went to it. It was weird.
Yeah, I think it might be an East Coast thing. I don't know. It's very weird. But anyway, yeah. So because originally I was going to have that because I haven't had that for a long time because since I now no longer work in the city, it's just a pain in the ass to get there. So I just haven't had it out of being lazy. And so I was like, oh, my birthday, I'll treat myself. I'll go out my way and have a Shake Shack.
Okay.
But then in the end, I just had that. I just got impatient and had it the day before. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I haven't. And the first thing that came to mind was Chipotle. I haven't had Chipotle for a while. So
is DoorDash or Uber Eats not a thing over there?
It is. But you know what? I don't know whether it's what it is, but I'm just cheap.
Okay. And that's not a cheap request either. So it's obviously the cost of the meal. And then there's a service fee, and then there's actually like a handling fee, and then just something else just to jack you out of $2 more. So you better order something expensive.
I remember a few years ago when it was like it was still like this almost new and exciting thing of I can just get anything almost delivered. I can get McDonald's delivered. What? And I remember almost about to order like just a Big Mac meal. And then, but yeah, with all the fees, it was like almost $20. And I was like,
yeah,
do I really want this?
The Big Mac meal would have been $6, but because of all the fees, it rounds up to $20. And then they go, would you also like to add a tip? And you're like, what?
So this is where you can tell you're West Coast and I'm East Coast. Big Mac meal for $6. You're joking, right?
It might even be more expensive.
I
was not a Big Mac guy.
The last time I bought a Big Mac meal in Manhattan, it was easily like $12, $13. It was, and that was the last time because I was like,
that's the meal that's with the French fries and the soft drink.
Yeah, just a burger with fries and a drink.
Word.
And then I was like, this is like a meal almost. Like I could be spending this money. Like the whole purpose of going to McDonald's was for it to be quick and cheap. Well, if it's not cheap, I could just go somewhere else and get something nicer. So that was my story of when I stopped going to McDonald's.
It's a good story.
Yeah, I don't know where we started with my birthday, and now I'm just losing our potential McDonald's sponsorship. But there you go.
That's all right. I dare you to sponsor us, McDonald's. I dare you.
Well, speaking of potential sponsorship, do you know who might be sponsoring us? Well,
OnlyFans?
OnlyFans, because you know what? Well, God damn it, we saved the day.
Yeah, they got our letters. They got our letters, Mike. Buttholes are back. Buttholes are back, baby.
Are back. Hashtag buttholes are back. So last week we stood up for the little guy or the little woman, and we was like, no to no porn on OnlyFans, and they didn't mention us by name in the press release, but
they never do.
So OnlyFans announced pretty much like the podcast, our episode was released, and I think it was like 3 hours later. You know, that's how powerful our voices are, ladies and gentlemen. So they said on Wednesday, it tweeted that it suspended the planned October 1st policy change. And then it's OnlyFans will continue to provide a home for all creators. Thank you to everyone for making your voices heard. You're welcome, OnlyFans.
Hashtag buttholes are back.
Hashtag buttholes are back. So it's fun. It's kind of what was on a bit. OnlyFans makes money, blah, blah, blah. Platform was reported 75% increase in new creators in May last year during lockdown. I think that was just because of lockdown. Obviously, a lot of people lost their jobs. So I know I'm not going to mention them by name, but I remember a colleague of mine who worked at a company that I work for. Again, not mentioning names, so I don't want to get fired. But they got released from their contracts, and they gladly announced in like their last team chat, like, well, guess I have to sell pictures of my feet. And I never followed up. I don't know if she is doing that or not, but she was that was like literally she'd lost her job, and then 30 minutes later it was like, well, guess I'm selling pictures of my feet. That was the first thing that came to her mind, which hey,
that's a woman with a plan. Okay.
She always said, in case of emergency, break glass. Feet pictures.
Feet pics. Such a strange fetish.
It is. I never like. There are certain things. I mean, maybe this could like tangent off into some fetishes here, but I'm always like, hey, to each their own. To each their own. But I just never understood that looking at someone's feet. like even when you get to the really weird. When you get to the really weird one, like in Japan, where I don't know if they still do them, but remember they used to, the famous story where they used to have like vending machines where you could get used underwear. And it's like, what?
Yeah. Why you gotta be weird, Japan? Come on.
It's always Japan.
In this case, it's Japan. What the fuck, yo?
But yeah, what are some weird fetishes you've ever heard of?
Tentacle porn. That's also usually Japanese.
Wait, what? Tentacle porn?
Tentacle porn, like octopuses fucking women with their tentacles.
How does that work? Because I just always imagine they're quite flaccid.
The octopus just broke. It's an octopus, man. Just punches it in there.
So the octopus.
I didn't take notes, Mike. I'm sorry.
So the octopus is not a willing participant in this.
No, the octopus is fair game. Yeah,
really?
I think it's the women that are being violated.
How do you know? How do you know the octopus is like, yeah, I'm up for this?
It's the one usually in the prone position. Yeah.
I feel like I need to look this up, but I'm also scared to do
it. Yeah. Don't worry about it, man. Hentai.
And the what's the one where you choke yourself while
that's self asphyxiation. That David Carradine died of that.
Yeah, like again, look, I'm not going to pretend to understand these people fetishes, but hey, if you like to look at someone's feet, or if you like to sniff someone's feet, or if you like to grab some used underwear, do your thing. But if you might die, why would you do that?
That's the exciting part of it. There are people who are into swimming in a septic tanks. You know, the septic tank on your house that collects all this, all your bodily fluidal waste. They just swim around in that shit. They got a little suit, they got some glasses, and they just swim around in that shit.
Literally swim around that shit.
Yeah.
And then what? They just walk out.
That's just some shit I saw on like Tosh.0. Don't get me started.
Tosh.0 is a fantastic TV show. But yeah, don't understand it. Don't understand. But yeah, to each their own. Just don't kill yourself trying to get your rocks off. That's all I'm gonna say. It's my little.
I'm gonna say, knock yourself out. Literally, there'll be one less space at the dinner table. I'm okay with that.
Oh yes, we're not losing. You know, we're not losing the cure to cancer here.
No, I mean, if it was Neil deGrasse Tyson, I'd be like, hey man, we kind of need you around here. Don't be doing that stupid shit, okay? But if it's just Frank down the street, that guy parks like an asshole, and you know what? We're not missing Frank. It'll be fine.
I've got a guy who lives opposite me. He parks like an asshole.
I bet he does.
Doesn't even annoy me normally, but when you have to do the alternate, do you do alternate parking thing over in the West Coast?
Mm-hmm.
You do the street sweeping, and you have to some days. This guy always takes up a spot where you could easily fit two cars. He just wants to put his truck. Anyway, I don't know what his name is.
I'm dealing with a few situations like that right outside my house. Yep, I relate.
I'm not going to give out my address on the podcast, but if you are listening to this and you live opposite an English person who looks like me, you're a dick, Yeah, saying that.
I co-sign that. I've never met you, but I believe it.
Can't park for shit.
No, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. Fuck that guy.
Before we wrap off on the OnlyFans story, one OnlyFans creator from London welcomed the announcement, but said those who had already found new homes for their content may still not return because they all went to Fiverr like I told them to. Do you remember that? They're all on Fiverr.
I mean, I'm not surprised that those folks aren't on 2 or 3 platforms. It's not like you go on OnlyFans and it's an exclusive contract. You can have it's like MySpace, man. You go to MySpace, you go to Friendster, you go to Facebook when they have the wall. Okay. You're not platform exclusive to OnlyFans. So yeah, okay.
I'm pretty sure most.
I'm sure they'll be back too.
I'm sure most porn websites have premium services that they can join.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they shot themselves in the foot. We'll see what happens.
They'll be fine. They'll be fine. And props to the bank for just going, all right, let's lean into this. Why not? Well, we still like money.
Yeah. I mean, babies about it. Speaking of now, the next 2 stories both involve babies. Where should we go? Should we go mountain lion or grunge rock?
The mountain lion is the least interesting of the 2 stories. So let's just get that out of the way. Let's just get it out of the way.
Well, okay. I mean, I guess it's not that interesting that there's not much to it, but how can you literally the first line of this story? How can you say this is not an interesting story? A woman in California has rescued her 5-year-old son from an attack by a mountain lion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it. I mean, I get it, but that's not anything new, man. There are bears, and I personally got coyotes just proudly just trotting past my Ring door camera, and it is a strange times,
okay,
Michael, but I'm used to this stuff now. So
have you ever punched one though?
Not yet.
Maybe you shouldn't.
I've been in training,
stones.
dude. I do push-ups on my knuckles and everything, player. It's wild.
Do you though?
Yeah.
Why? Is that one of your fetishes?
That's what I learned in karate.
Is that supposed to help?
Yeah, man. Stiffens up your knuckles.
Why do you need to stiffen up your knuckles?
Because I want to punch you in the face a lot, and that would hurt my knuckles otherwise. It's called conditioning.
So you're preparing to punch either me or a mountain lion in the face?
Might even have to punch a bear.
Well, I mean, if you put in the work, you might as well, use it or lose it.
Strive for the top.
But so yeah, this was in Calabasas,
California,
in the Santa Monica Mountains. Well, I guess if you live in the mountains, you're gonna have to expect some weird shit.
Well, mountain lions are commonly in the mountains. So
the clue's in the name. I mean, what do you expect? The child was dragged across the front lawn, but his mother ran out and struck the mountain lion with her bare hands.
Powerful. I mean, once we lead into it, like, yeah, I like this. She just ran up and especially cocked back too. Like,
I bet she said some choice things as well.
Probably.
What the animals later found and shot dead by wildlife authorities. How do they know it's the same one? Or maybe it had a black eye.
Yes. We're just going to run with that.
It was just mountain lion, like
instead of me cliff claving it, we're just going to run with that.
With like a bag of frozen peas over its eye. Like, fucking bitch.
What's wrong, Mr. Mountain Lion? Oh, that'll happen, Mr. Mountain
Lion. The officer who killed the lion, believed it was the likely culprit.
Mm-hmm.
So there was even no due process here.
There was no trial, that's for sure. However, I hope there will be a blanket, and I hope there was a feast afterwards. Like, it'd be a shame just to let all that good meat go to waste. Have you ever had mountain lion? I haven't. Would you like to? Yes, thank you.
I bet it'd make a mean chili.
Ooh, mountain lion chili. I wasn't even in my radar, but now it is, Mike. Thank you.
That's what I had. Bison chili in Denver. That's what I remember.
Okay.
Well, maybe I don't think it was Denver, but it was in the Colorado area. Anyway, so the officer who killed the lion believed it was the likely culprit due to its behavior, like peas, and proximity to the attack. A DNA test later confirmed that it was the animal that attacked the child. That's good. They did.
Okay.
It's good that they found out after the fact that they killed it. That it was
How great would that be if the mother framed the mountain lion? The mother really went out there and just dragged her kid across the lawn, and then just made up like a mountain lion tried to eat my child, and then they just shot a mountain lion because.
But then they try to make it out. That was like officials said the animal involved was young. Experts believe that it was still learning how to hunt and fend for itself, according to CBS News. So, baby attacking baby, and baby got dead.
Well, again,
R.I.P.
Invite me to the barbecue.
Barbecue it though. I for some reason I don't know why I have no.
We can air fry it too. I
have no knowledge about cooking mountain lion, but for some reason it seems like the kind of animal that'd be good in like a slow cooker or something.
Sure, we can do that. No rush. Just tell me when and where to be.
Get some mountain lion ribs going.
Yes,
that would be great. I want my mountain lion.
Those would probably go for like $50 a stick. Ribs. Like there's literally like 12 of them. You dude, make all your money back just on the ribs alone.
This is where we're just coming up with some business ideas. So by night, you'll be able to subscribe to our OnlyFans and watch Kush read comic books topless
and cook mountain lion.
And then you can go to our restaurant and get some mountain lion ribs, and then
still topless.
Just seductively eat the ribs whilst licking your fingers, watching the comic book reading. It'd be great. Be a very niche establishment, but
and I don't read the comic book out loud. I just read it. You guys watch me. I'm still topless, but
just looking onto the stage and just like sitting there quietly, and just every now and then you're like,
oh no way!
Oh, I didn't see that coming. And they're like, what happened?
Oh, Jean Grey,
you crazy. Next story, also about this. Okay, I guess this one's going to be a long one because I have a lot to say about this guy. Okay, so one of the most famous albums of all time, one of the most famous albums in grunge. It changed the music industry, as they say, was Nevermind by Nirvana. I'm assuming you're familiar with their work.
I was a freshman in high school when this album dropped. I remember the first time I saw the video for Smells Like Teen Spirit. It was MTV was doing these things called blocks, and they'd have like rock blocks and hip hop blocks, and it was just like 2 to 4 videos straight in a row before you got a commercial. And they were just like, this is a buzz block. This is the first time we're dropping the new Nirvana album. And it was one of those things where you're just like, wow, this thing is something special. And it's weird because you watch music videos all day long, but this is like the reaction you're literally getting, like you're watching something special here. And yeah, man, Nevermind. I've still never owned the album because it was just so goddamn big. It was always on the radio.
He's a great. You should check it out. Check out the whole album. It's pretty good.
I've heard it through osmosis.
It's okay. So it's one of the most famous albums of all time, but it's also probably one of the most famous album covers of all time, as the baby swimming, reaching for the dollar bill, like basically being fished with a dollar bill, and the child would then later grow up, as babies tend to do.
They have that habit.
And become a person named Spencer Elden.
Spencer Baby Dick Elden.
Yes, that is his middle name. His parents were very cruel. But so now 30 years old, this man, He is suing the remaining members of the band, so Christina Novoselic, Dave Grohl, and also the Kurt Cobain estate for $150,000, which actually isn't much in the grand scheme when you think about what lawsuits are going for now. It's not that much.
No, he's asking for that money from each individual.
Yeah, but still, that's when you anyway.
It adds up to about $1 million, and plus the estate of Kurt Cobain. Plus the estate of Kurt Cobain is in this lawsuit.
Doesn't matter. He's not going to get it anyway. That's a spoiler alert. So he is saying, one, his parents never signed a release authorizing the use of the image on the album. Mm-hmm. He also alleges the nude image constitutes child pornography.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that is about a quarter way through the story that I'm reading it. Okay, now actually, no, we're going to go further into this. The image exposes Spencer's intimate body part, penis, lavishly, lasciviously, Jesus Christ, I'm not reading good words today, displayed Spencer's genitals from the time that he was an infant to the present day. Well, no, they were just his genitals at the time. Like if you buy the album now, you're not seeing a 30-year-old man's penis. It's still the baby's. No, but I mean, like each year they didn't release a new album cover updating the penis.
The way I've seen things worded, apparently his penis has not grown.
Well, that's another story. That
is another story within
another part of the story. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know like genitals from the time. Anyway, non-sexualized photos of infants are generally not considered child pornography. Okay, I don't know why that's in the story. Non-sexualized photos of infants are generally not considered child pornography. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for letting us know.
That's the argument. Is that this is child pornography? That's his argument. 30 years after the case.
However, Elden's lawyer Robert J. Lewis argues that the inclusion of the dollar bill, which was superimposed after the photo was taken, makes the minor seem like a sex worker. Okay. Now this is one of those things of like when someone says that to you, hey, yeah, the dollar bill on the Nirvana cover kind of makes that naked baby look like a sex worker. On one hand, you are kind of like, I guess, but then also you're like, why the fuck are you thinking like that? Why? I'm more worried about you. Why did you think about the child being a sex worker? That's kind of weird.
That is very weird.
But yeah,
this is that doth protest too much.
Yeah, indeed. Like, yeah, it would be like I was like, hey, see that chihuahua over there? Yeah. Wouldn't it be disgusting if someone wanted to have sex with that? So, yeah, I guess. Why are you thinking about that? You know what I mean? Like, what? Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
I've actually had to have that conversation with a friend or two, and it's very disappointing and just uncomfortable. And you're just like, yo, man, what the fuck are you thinking? Don't bring that shit around here.
It's like, I mean, I know, because I know not be about my geographical area, but where we are, I know a lot. I have friends who are of the Asian persuasion. And I often will have awkward conversations where like maybe like friends of friends and newcomers into the group will like, I guess, try to feel like they have to say something to make themselves, but they'll just like randomly, the conversation will not be going there, and they'll just be randomly like, oh, isn't it really bad how like Asian people get, and then they'll go enter random racist shit. And I'm like, why are you bringing that up? No one's talking about that right now. Shut up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway.
They mean well, but
they
failed execution. I hear what you're saying.
Indeed. So I'm going to... Okay, so the last thing before we're going to break it down a little bit, because there is quite a lot to this story, but this is a very important part of this story. So he claims that he has suffered and will continue to suffer lifelong damages as a result of the artwork, including extreme and permanent emotional distress as well as the interference with his normal development and educational process. Right? What? You're fucking 30 years old. Like, where is interference with his normal development? You're 30. You should be grown up by now. Stop it.
Indeed.
Educational progress? What? Is he in high school?
He's a slacker, and he's one of those dudes who went to a 4-year college. Probably went to a 2-year college, and he's now on year 9. I've known a few folks like that as well. Also very disappointing, to the point where they weren't going to medical school, but I'll still just call him, hey, Doc Dean. Yes, I just named you Dr. Dean, who went to college for 14 years.
So he claims that he has suffered and will continue to suffer lifelong damages. So obviously, so this is a guy, I'm going to paint a picture here for those that don't know this. So this obviously, because I don't want to make light of this, obviously, this guy has obviously been suffering 30 years. Like, maybe that just in recluse, like just going, oh, why was I on that photo? Oh my God, please, people, stop buying this album. Oh my God, I'm so upset. Next part. Elden has recreated the album cover several times as a teenager and adult, always wearing the swimming trunks to mark Nevermind's 10th, 20th, and 25th anniversaries. So he was fine after 10, 20, 25 years. But apparently, 30 years, you've gone too far, Nirvana. You've gone too far. Also, not to mention, if you see a picture of him now, topless, you will clearly see he proudly tattooed the name of the album across his chest. He has Nevermind tattooed across his chest. So he's obviously a little bit proud of this. Okay, right. I'm going to continue on. This is a great part. But okay, so far, what are your thoughts on this case?
He's a dude who's been coasting on this forever. Now, if there was anything else, the fact that there's a missing release would probably be a big issue. But it's Nevermind, it's Nirvana, it's 30 years later. The release is not going to be a problem in this case here. This is a dude who likes attention. He most likely got paid actual money for those last 3 appearances, but he's most likely also hit that wall where he is no longer allowed to bang college girls just based on like, yo, did you know I was the baby on the Nevermind album cover? That has probably worked for him 150 times, and then it finally like hit a wall, and he was like, oh no. Also, my drug habit. So I know you got a lot more to go into this, but I'm just going to say this. I think best case scenario, they settle this out of court. They pay him half of what he requests, and then they also add an addendum. You may never do this bullshit again, nor will we ever be in contact with you again because you're a douchebag and you got a baby dick.
I mean, yeah, because it does actually say here that there are 15 defendants. So 15 times 150,000. So he's asking for 2.25 million. I would be shocked if he gets half of that.
I bet he gets less than $1 million. And there will be a clause in the contract. You may never sue us again for anything. Anything. If he does get a settlement, it will not only, hey, you may not come after us again, but I would be shocked where it's like, you cannot earn any money off of this. You cannot do interviews anymore about this. You cannot claim to be like, you'll be like, you're dead. Like, you cannot talk about us anymore. Keep our names out of your mouth.
Your name out of your mouth. Then this story, which is great, it just actually recounts previous things. So in 6 years ago, this young lad did an interview with the Guardian newspaper when he was asked about being involved in the album cover. He's quoted as saying, "It's always been a positive thing and opened doors for me. I'm 23 now and an artist, and this story gave me the opportunity to work with Shepard Fairey for 5 years, which was an awesome experience. He is a huge music connoisseur. When he heard I was a Nirvana baby, he thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm. And then he found out that the Nirvana baby was a dickhead, and he wanted nothing to do with him anymore. Shepard Fairey is the guy who did the Obama Hope poster and the Andre the Giant is it Obey? Yeah, the Obey poster, if you're not familiar with that.
And then so then there was a quote from, let me try and just double check and make sure I know who this is. Someone Weddle. I'm not sure who that is. Did I miss that? I'm assuming he's someone to involve. But basically, in 2019, said that this guy Weddle, I'm assuming he's something involved with either Geffen Records or the media company. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong. Apologies. Correct me if I'm wrong. He said he was in contact with Elden and acknowledged in 2019 that he was conflicted about the picture. And he said, and this is quotes from Spencer himself in 2019, 2 years before he's suing because he's distressed about this child pornography. He said he feels that everyone made money off of it and I didn't. I deserve something.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
And apparently there was, I did, as I recounted previously on this show, with certain stories, I like to try to get multiple sources because, again, last week, I almost got into a little bit of hot bother when I was going to make extremely light of the Jeopardy situation. So I dug a little bit deeper, and I'm glad I did. So this one, there was another interview where people were talking about their interactions with Spencer. And apparently, on at least one occasion, but probably more, where he would, like you said, to college kids and things like that, he would use the line, literally, he would use the line, "Hey, want to see my penis again?" And then introduce himself as the Nirvana baby.
That's such a scumbag.
Such a scumbag. So, I'm sure Spencer's going to get something from this, but it's not going to be anywhere close to the 2.25 million he's looking for.
No.
And he's going to.
But that's the best case scenario. The judge will probably just laugh him out of the court as well.
Yeah, he better hope
and then,
that they try to settle this out of court, because if it goes to court, I can't see any judge.
Well, here's the worst case scenario is not only does it get thrown out of court, but then Spencer Baby Dick has to pay for everyone's legal fees.
And he's suing 15 people. That could be a lot.
He has to pay for 15 people's legal fees. This is very high risk, no reward.
Yeah, he's probably already out because he's paying for this dumbass Robert Y. Lewis lawyer. Who I don't know, maybe he's some
can
guy
go very quickly, and he'd probably make way more money over the long term had he just not rock the boat. So
just every year, just come out, do your photo in the pool, get a couple of $100.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Now you made it awkward, Spencer, by mentioning child porn.
By the way, Spence, after college girls, they're cougars, dude. That's still love Nirvana. All right. You would have still gotten so much pussy. But no more, dude. That ship has sailed.
So that was obviously released 30 years ago. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, you're looking at women in the late 40s, early 50s.
Dude, women are aging very well these days. And
have you seen what's it called, American Pie, like Stifler's mom?
Oh yeah,
that could have been you, Spencer. That could have been you.
The film that coined, not necessarily coined, but popularized the term MILF. Yeah, that could have been you, Spence.
Now, I mean, I'm sure he'll still be able to find someone to.
Yeah, there are people who just are oblivious to this story and or will forget about it.
But I remember another arc where he was just talking about when he was trying to talk about how much distressing this is and things like that. He was talking about how he would just be like out in public and people would recognize him as no
yeah,
one has ever looked at the cover of Nevermind at the baby and was like, wait a second, this is you, right? You haven't changed a bit. Like, you.
No way.
No way. Is that you? Can you
show us your baby dick, Spencer?
Yeah. Whatever, Spencer. So I hope you get nothing. I'm sorry, but don't bring like you could. I mean, he could have brought this up and become less of it. But I think a lot of people have reacted poorly to this story just because he tried to use the whole child porn angle. I think that's a lot of people. Like, it's a bad look.
Mm-hmm.
There's like all joking aside, obviously that's a real serious issue, and you're trying to bring that into trying to get cash grab. Like, fuck you.
By his logic, he's trying to profit off of child porn. Open your third eye, motherfucker. That's what you just did.
I mean, if he legitimately thought this was that, then you need to be pressing charges and things, not just suing them.
You need to be pressing charges. You need to make a movement to have the album cover changed. Okay? He's not doing that. This is,
just child porn. But I'm okay with it if you give me a bit of money. I'm fine. It's fine. Whatever. Anyway. Dickhead. Baby dick, motherfucker. Next up, already, Jesus, this episode has flown by. What a magical
it's good
episode.
times, man.
It's now time for Kush's movie review, where he reviews a movie, and his name is Kush. That's my newest jingle I've come up with.
Love it.
Love it. This week, I believe I wrote it down somewhere. I really should start watching the movies that you're going to review. It might make this a hell of a lot more fun. Was it Candyman 2021?
Candyman 2021, aka Candyman Part 4, aka Candyman Part 2, but don't tell anybody about those other two movies.
Wait, so for those less educated in the Candyman franchise, such as me, is this like a new thing, Candyman 2021 released in 2020-21 or 2020-2021, or is this like something that released ages ago with it's like where it's like, oh, we want to sound futuristic, so let's name it 2021?
No, the original Candyman came out in 1992,
right?
But this newest edition is also just called Candyman. It's it's following that long line of unoriginality where we're trying to reboot the property. But we're just calling it the same thing we called it 30 years ago.
But for reference, everyone's calling it Candyman 2021.
Or I am. I think let's just shrink that down to me.
No, we're starting a trend. We got OnlyFans back for the people. We can start movements here.
We did that shit. Yeah.
Hashtag buttholes are back. Hashtag Candyman 2021.
Hashtag buttholes are back. Candyman 2021. So, Nia DaCosta is the director. Everyone keeps thinking this is a Jordan Peele film, and he produced it. He said, "Hey, put that comma over there in the script," and then he got a written by credit. But this is a movie by a woman named Nia DaCosta. She now holds the record for the only Black female director to have a #1 movie ever in America.
Nice.
That's just one little fun fact. Movie stars Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. He is from Cleveland, Ohio, but he is also once upon a time he was a desk clerk in the civil engineering department of San Francisco City Hall, where once upon a time I used to work. I don't believe we worked the same year in the same building. However,
Sort of like
that's
how-
also a nice fun fact.
Sort of like how I went to the same school as Russell Brand.
That is also exciting to hear.
Yeah, but
I went to the same high school as Barbara Eden, the woman who played I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah, the same thing. We never crossed paths. He'd left. He'd already graduated before I started that school. But I normally don't finish that part of the story. I just normally, oh yeah, I went to the same school as Russell Brand. I go, ooh,
It's a fun fact. I was impressed by it. I was like, nice.
I met him outside. It wasn't at school. It was after school, and we was both adults.
Mhm.
Super nice
Cool
guy.
dude.
Super cool
There you
guy.
go.
Super cool guy. And his height.
That-
I remember in the height of his fame, I was just chilling out at work outside having a cigarette, and just randomly he just comes walking up the street, and I was like, "Oh, all right, Russell," and he just stopped, and we just had a conversation, like 20-minute conversation. Super cool guy.
That's very cool. That's the stuff you want to hear, and I'm happy that I got to hear that.
Yeah.
So
anyway, Candyman.
Mike,
So,
are
wait,
you
we'll see.
familiar? So
Wait,
you're
wait,
unfamiliar with the original Candyman?
Wait. Well, I'm another question, because you're the movie guy.
True.
Well, you're saying Jordan Peele got a writing credit for this, even though he hardly did anything.
Probably did nothing.
What is I'm trying to think of it, but I can't think of it. There was a movie where it was very heavily advertised as co-directed by Quentin Tarantino, and apparently he did one scene, and that was it.
Oh, Sin City.
That's yes, that's what I'm thinking. Yes.
Yeah, that's a Robert Rodriguez movie, and something happened where I think Robert's blacklisted either before it or now because of it, and then Tarantino wanted to direct a scene, so he did. Yeah, that was a weird stat.
It's a good movie though.
Great movie.
I still haven't watched
the original.
Sin City
The
2.
first one's a great one. Part 2, not so much. I didn't see it.
I haven't seen it either. Anyway, Candyman.
Candyman. You're not familiar at all with the original Candyman from 1992?
No, but I'm going to assume it's a
That's
horror
okay.
movie. I'm going to assume it's a horror
It
movie.
is a horror movie.
Okay.
It is originally a Clive Barker story that was adapted for American cinemas, and I forget who directed it, but Tony Todd. This is the movie that most people would know Tony Todd from, despite him already doing the Night of the Living Dead reboot 3 years earlier.
Okay.
You know who I'm talking about? Tony Todd?
Not off by he said he did the Night of the Living Dead.
Mm-hmm. Very large black man.
Yeah,
has this very deep voice that you've probably heard in most DC cartoons and other properties. He always usually plays an imposing force. Did you see The Rock with with Nick Cage and Sean Connery?
Fantastic movie.
He is one of the mercenaries. He is the black mercenary that is not Bokeem Woodbine. Crickets. This is where you insert crickets. Anyways,
maybe I will.
Candyman was about a white female college professor was doing a story on urban legends, and she lives in Chicago, Illinois. And during this time, there was a very dangerous urban project called Cabrini Green.
Rolls off the tongue.
It would finally be closed and set for demolish as recent as maybe less than a decade ago. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But in the case of this movie, there is a legend about a dude named Candyman who was a former slave, fell in love with a white woman. The public found out about it, and they publicly tortured him, where they cut off his hand. They jammed a rusty hook into the stump.
Why would you
they
do that?
then poured honey all over him and let bees attack him until he died horribly and painfully. And then if you say his name 5 times in the mirror, then he will come before you and murder you dead on the spot.
So many times.
Michael, you have questions, I reckon.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So I guess I can wait. So so they poured the honey over him.
Mm-hmm.
So the insects would. Okay, fine. I'll run with that. That's fine. That makes total sense. But if you are trying to torture this man, and you obviously have full intention of killing this guy.
Yes.
After you torture him. Once you've cut off his hand, why would you replace it with a weapon? Like, only bad things is going to happen.
This is just an urban legend. It's supposed to just sound horrible. It's supposed to sound painful. And then it's also supposed to sound scary because he kills you with his fucking...
Yeah, of course he does.
Okay.
Like, why did they replace it? Just cut it off. Leave it off.
It's not supposed to have logic in it, man. It's supposed to just sound horrible and terrible and frightening all at the same time. That's its only purpose.
It's like...
I appreciate where you're coming from.
Let's torture this guy, right? Let's torture this guy. It's that cut off his arm.
Yeah, no, it's like getting upset because Freddy Krueger is actually a child molester and not a child murderer. And why is one less worse than the other? It just is. He just murders children. Why does he murder them? Because he was fucking molesting them.
But it's like, let's cut off this guy's arm, okay? And then let's replace it with a machine gun, and then kill him. Nothing bad will happen.
That would still be very painful.
Why do we do that? Because why not? You're asking for trouble. If you give the man a weapon before you kill him, you know he's going to come back. Have these people not watched movies before? All right,
you're going to have to take this up with Clive Barker. Okay,
I will.
This is his story. Okay,
Clive Barker.
This is the guy who made Hellraiser. You know, Pinhead, and your suffering will be legendary in hell. That whole thing.
Clive Barker, hook his hand. I'm going to make a note of that. He better not have a Twitter account of what, because I'm coming after him.
Oh shit, Clive Barker, you've been put on notice, sir.
Anyway, carry on with this logical story.
All right, so
wait, this is just the original, right? We haven't even got to the 2021 version.
This is just the original.
Oh, fuck me,
man. That's all right, man. You have questions, I have answers. This is what we're here for. This is why Waffle Box is the best thing about Wednesdays, Mike.
Hashtag Waffle Wednesday, hashtag Waffles back.
So she is investigating the story. She ends up saying the words within the mirror. Tony Todd, as the Candyman, appears before her, but he instead of just murdering Helen, he looks at her and he's like, "Oh shit, you remind me of that white woman I fell in love with 400 years ago. So you can come with me and be with me for eternity, or I'm just going to murder everybody." And guess what? He starts murdering everybody around her. And it is awful and it is terrible. Also, by the way, there is a local street criminal, drug dealer, and it's just a bully. He's just a bully, Mike. And he has also adopted the acronym of Candyman, the moniker of Candyman, and walks around Cabrini Greens with a hook, a meat hook, you know, just like you'd find at the butcher's,
or in Peter Pan,
Not so much Peter Pan, but again, I understand where you're coming from.
But at least that made sense. That the losing of the hand was an accident, so he wanted the weapon to be his. Anyways, things go horribly wrong for Helen, where ultimately she gets fingered by
she keeps getting framed for all these murders that Candyman has done, to the point where she's put in an insane asylum. She escapes the insane asylum. She ends up back in Cabrini Green, and Candyman has kidnapped a baby. And so she tries to save the baby, and ultimately somehow there's a bonfire involved, and she burns to death. But sure enough, she saves the baby. But guess what, Mike? It doesn't stop there. Now there's this new urban legend about this crazy white bitch named Helen. Really crazy one day, and she kidnapped a child, and she murdered a bunch of people. She murdered a dog, Mike. That's how bad things get. Okay. And then while she tried to murder this child, the residents of Cabrini Green fought back, and they committed street justice right there on the spot and burned her to death.
And now if you say Karen 5 times in the mirror, she comes back.
That's actually how the original Candyman ends. You say Helen 5 times and that bitch will come murder you. We don't get that much. We just get that little urban legend. But we finally get into the movie. Yeah.
Oh, we haven't even started yet.
He is an artist, and he
Wait, who
hears
okay,
about this
who,
legend.
who decides the 5-time thing?
Mhm.
Because if you say, okay, we should say this many times in the mirror, he's going to come back and murder everyone. You would set it at like a safe number. It's like, okay, we have to say it
Why is a mirror even
5,000
involved?
times.
There's no reason why a mirror is even. Remember, this man was the original Candyman was murdered in
Why is he called
slavery
Candyman?
times when we didn't have the luxury of mirrors.
Did he sell candy?
There's no reason why candy becomes a part of it in the original thing. It's just he's just the Candyman because of honey
Fucking hell,
and the
Clive.
bees and
Sort your life out, Clive. Anyway, so that was the original one. Let's talk about Candyman.
Are you ready for this?
Oh,
Are you
I'm ready.
for this? Are you sure? You
Yeah.
want to get a drink?
Oh, I'm good.
Oh,
2021.
Down on his luck, street artist Yahya Abdul Mateen II. He's actually got a super dope girlfriend who is also in the art world, and she gets him plugged into this new art exhibit. But the guy running it, he's like, "Yo, you're a great artist, but I've seen all your good shit, and this new shit, it's weak, it's lame. I don't like it. Do something urban." And one way or another, he finds out about the legend of Helen and the legend of Candyman, and he starts creating some art pieces around it, and that's when all hell breaks loose because Candyman himself is summoned. Tony Todd is an old ass man now, but he makes his appearance as the titular character, but he likes Yahya Abdul Mateen II, and he starts to take over his body. And the whole thing is he going crazy? Does the Candyman actually exist, Mike? What the fuck is happening here? Murder.
Pause. I have a question. Okay, so you're saying, right, so now Candyman 20, so the Candyman is here already, right?
Yes, he's back.
Right. So what has he been doing for all these years?
Murdering people that call his name, but no one has been.
Oh wait, so he went back in the mirror.
He's always been in the mirror.
Wait, so okay, so once he comes out of the mirror, how long has he got to murder before he gets sucked back in the mirror?
He's pretty efficient about stuff, man. Yeah. There's no time limit on it, but he's pretty efficient. No one seems
so
to
he got
escape
bored
his
and went
wrath.
back. Oh. This is what I hate about most horror movies. They don't make any sense at all.
Well, no one seems to escape the room quick enough to elude his murdery tendencies.
I just wish like
Candyman's like the U.S. Marshals. They always get his man.
So so when was the original?
1991.
1991. So it's 20 years. 20 years. No, 30 years. 30 years. Did he look like an old man with like a rusty hook where he'd be like, Jesus Christ?
He does now because it's been 30 years later.
Murdering for 30. I'm knackered. I'm tired.
They do pretty good about blurring his face just enough and keeping him far enough in the background where you can't. It's.
I guess it doesn't make sense.
This is one of those passing of the torches. Please take my hook and murder people. Yeah, Abdul Mateen.
If you're having trouble with your actors because the character is 30 years older, but you don't want it to be 30 years older, don't fucking bring the character back, Clive. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't even know if Clive Barker was credited on this one.
Well, he shouldn't have
been. Yes, been.
Anyway, so this artist who's now come up with some whack shit, he's now dead.
He gets stung by a bee, and his hand starts decaying. Like it's a gnarly body horror thing, man. Like it's one of those things where like, yo, man, you should have gone to the hospital 3 days ago. What the fuck are you thinking, man? And it's a nice slow burn. It affects his whole arm. It affects half of his face. It's some really good makeup work on him. Also, fantastic cinematography, dude. Like they do a lot of cool things with the mirror. They do a lot of great things where they took the camera and they not only flipped it upside down, but they inverted it. So yeah, it's hard to explain, but the opening credits of this are really cool to look at. This is a great movie. The first 2/3 of it are very entertaining to me. I'm deep in the story. I'm able to follow along. You have many questions, but just go see the first movie. Most of them will be answered ish. And then the final third of the movie happens, and it's just like, oh, we have to make a Candyman movie now, and murder, and that's about it. I given this a 4 out of 5, but I recommend it for streaming.
Whoa! I mean, I haven't seen this movie.
Mm-hmm.
How are you giving this 4 out of 5?
I really enjoyed it. Yeah. It would be probably a 5 out of 5 if it wasn't for the ending.
Jesus.
I like the actors. I like the characters. I like the story. I like the time frame. It's 90 minutes long with credits.
That's good. I like that. That gives an extra point just for nice being.
The horror is effective. There's a message in it. It's about gentrification. It's about
gentrification.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's about bad choices. If you're going to kill someone, don't replace their hand with a weapon.
Well, you're just going to have to be mad at the slave masters about that one. All right.
Oh, that's just one of many reasons why I'm mad at them. But dumbasses. But so 4 out of 5. That's one of your better movies that you've reviewed.
It was really enjoyable. Again, nothing really about this you need to see in the theaters. See this on streaming.
But wait, okay. Here's my question then. Did you watch Bill and Ted Face the Music?
Terrible. I wasn't even looking forward to it.
Did you watch it?
Yes.
Okay. Did you watch the original 2 Bill and Ted movies?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm saying, so for me, when I watched Bill and Ted Face the Music, because it was everything that it needed to be as a Bill and Ted movie, I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. However, I can very much understand that it was a dog shit movie.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I thoroughly enjoyed it because it was the perfect dog shit movie to follow the story, if you know what I mean. So is that me? Do you think this is where you think Candyman 2021 does well? Because if it was like on its own standalone, Jesus Christ, it's a bad movie. But because it does very well to continue on to the original story, that's where it gets bonus points.
I have no problem with the story of Candyman. That's not where I
No. But what I'm saying is because Candyman 2021 does so well to continue on the story, that's what's getting its bonus points. Because just from what you're saying,
it's
on its own as a standalone movie,
visuals
it's like,
too, man. It's good visuals. It's good acting. Again, I like the characters. I like the actors. I like the story that it was telling. I liked what it was leading up to, but I didn't like the execution of the finale. That's pretty much it. I liked how they used Tony Todd. He's never the central. He's never the central character of it, despite being the titular character. Bill and Ted, however, was a sequel that should have never been made. Been 25 years, okay? They had tried. They had made several Candyman sequels after that. Okay. This was fine for a reboot, whereas Bill and Ted 3 was trying to just be a flat-out sequel, and just it contradicted its own story from the original film.
Oh, well, whenever you get involved in time travel, you're always in murky waters.
Sure. And despite me not thinking it would be good at all, it was still bad. Like I was not surprised. I was not disappointed. It was one of those things that I thought was an urban legend for years. There are actually several Kush and Kai microdoses where we are talking about Bill and Ted 3 before it happens, as it happens. I wish we could have talked about it after it happened, but we never got that far. I think there's a regular microdose with me and Robin, though, where we talk about Bill and Ted 3. You know, they're two different projects. They're two different outcomes, and Bill and Ted 3 just should have never been made. You're just
a hater. That's all it is.
I could be a hater. Yeah.
Okay, but So Candyman 2021. Do you recommend people see it, or is this definitely a movie that if you haven't seen the original Candyman, you need to see that first?
You don't need to see the original at all.
Does it? So it does a good enough job to just you can be a standalone enjoyable movie. Okay.
In fact, I bet if you see this one first, you will say, "Oh, I would like to see that original one now and compare it."
You might enjoy the original more.
It's a slow burn. I would, in fact, I would even say this one is better than the original. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about like, just by a nose, but still.
Jesus Christ. My handwriting, by the way, is terrible.
I believe that.
Right now. I'm making all these notes. I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. But yeah, okay. So Candyman, get it, got it, good. Yeah. I think that's just wraps up for another episode. I think we talked about everything we want to talk about. What have you got coming up? By the way, if you do want to suggest any stories that you want us to talk about, you can send us an email at mikeandkush@gmail.com. That's mikeandkush@gmail.com. Or you can hit us up on social media at WaffleboxPod, WaffleboxPod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And we'll be more than happy to talk about it because that'd be fun. But also just follow us anyway. So coming up in the next 7 days, what have we got going on, Kush, in the world of the Bosnet family?
We got Microdose 82 coming up. It's a solo interview with the director of a little short film called Officer Down. It's a part of the Iron Dragon TV Action Fest that is happening all the way into this Saturday, September 4th. Where we go from there, I'm not 100% sure. But I'll be talking to Simon Pierce this Friday. We literally did the interview this afternoon. He's a fun dude, really nice guy, and he's made a pretty good short film that'll be in other film festivals following this. And then I'm going to tease next week, Mike. We'll have a review for Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings.
Ooh, I do want to see it. Is that on? Is that?
That comes out this weekend. I will be seeing it tomorrow night.
Is that theaters only, or is that on Disney
theaters
Plus?
only?
Oh, controversial.
Mm-hmm.
Scarlett Johansson might be happy with that.
But I'm expecting it to just be entertaining, and we'll see. I've been hearing a lot of different reviews. People either love this or this is just middle at best.
I'm not going to judge because I'm going to watch it at some point. Because I'm not going to watch it in the theater though. But I'll wait till it comes out on DP. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think just from the trailers that I've heard. Because I haven't seen any trailers, but I've heard when I'm listening to the radio. Because I still
do you call Disney Plus DP?
You know why?
I call it D plus.
Oh no, it's way more funny and childish if you call it DP. But yes, so obviously the guy who I do another podcast with, Clara and Big Blue Podcast, he is one of the hosts of the morning show, Rob Ryan Show, out of Houston, Texas, and I listen to that every morning. And every now and again, I'll hear like a trailer for the new Marvel movie. And I appreciate audio trailers are, I guess, difficult to put together because it doesn't have the same visual, obviously. Mm-hmm. But just from the clips, the audio clips they put together, it does sound like very like slapstick tongue and like, oh, it was a Marvel movie, but it's also we're trying to be funny. Hey, and it's
I imagine it'll have its comedy stings.
Oh yeah,
I imagine it'll have some fun actions and some fun CGI.
That's what Marvel's all about. It should be good action, good storytelling, but with a little bit of also every now and again, hey. Whereas this, it's only the trailer, so it's too early to. But it seemed like they maybe. I'm worried. I guess that's the best way of putting it. I'm worried they're going to overly lean on the comedy.
No, what they're overly doing is leaning in on the race of the film. Look, guys, I don't like to get political or whatever, but there's this country called China. All right. And they've got a very successful film industry, and it's actually filled with Chinese superheroes that you don't know anything about. But let me tell you something. There's a film from 20 years ago called Storm Riders. You're going to fucking love it. It's actually the film that beat Titanic when it first came out. They went head to head the first weekend. Storm Raiders shattered that shit. Okay. Look, this is nothing new, and I think the worst thing about this film is Disney is trying to push it like, yo, we're the first people to be doing anything like this, and they're not. So,
almost going full circle to one of our earlier conversations where it's like it's awkward when you try to slide in with, "Hey, look, we're cool." It does have a little bit of element. Look,
no,
we have Asian people.
Yeah,
aren't we cool? We have Asian people.
Most of America's problems is reading the movie. Okay, literally, they don't like subtitles. That was one of my complaints with Black Widow, Mike. I was like, this scene should actually all be in Russian. It's really weird that they're talking broken English together when they're in Russia. There's no one else in this room. It's just 4 Russians.
Why aren't they talking Russian?
Yeah. So I imagine we'll get some subtitles in our new Disney film. But guys, guess what? Tony Leung is in like 400 of these films in China, and he is amazing in all of them. So that's my takeaway before I've even seen this film. Again, I'm seeing it tomorrow night. We'll be talking about it next week on Waffle Box Pod.
All right, before we wrap up, I just want to do a shout. I can't remember his name, but you're going to know his name because I know you're the kind of person who will know his name. Who is that? The Kung Fu legend. He was the guy in Kill Bill franchise who makes the sword.
Sonny Chiba.
He died recently. He passed away. So rest in peace. I already admit I'm terrible with names, but even I know, and I'm not as much of a Kung Fu movie fan as Kush, but even I know that guy was a legend. So
Sonny Chiba, based out of Japan.
Shout out to him.
He's known for the Street Fighter series, which I'll just be upfront and say I only know of because of Quentin Tarantino's True Romance. That's the film festival Christian Slater is at when he meets Arquette,
and
Patricia Arquette.
Well, Keanu Reeves was like a fanboy of his. Like,
I believe that.
Oh, you haven't seen so. There was before we wrap up. So I don't know what movie he was promoting. It might have been one of the John Wick movies. I think I could be wrong, but it was one of these like TV shows where they suddenly talk about, hey, I heard you're a big fan of this guy. Oh, here he is, and he came out, and you could just see Keanu Reeves was just like, so starstruck, and he was just like asking me like, oh. Do you remember in this movie when you did this? It was like
oh, that's fun to see.
You know what? Yeah, it was like when you see people you think you're going to be started when they are just like fanboying out. It's like
I'm smiling already.
Yeah, it's super cool to see.
Sonny Chiba was a bad motherfucker, and for my Fast and Furious family, he's the lead gangster in Tokyo Drift. He's the uncle, and then at the end he goes, "You are free," and then they go. Shots. Family. This was before family. But still, let's do.
Anyway,
perfect. Take us home, Mike.
Take us home. Okay, so if you are watching this on the YouTubes, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell icon so you get notifications whenever new episodes come up every Wednesday. If you are listening to this, or if you want to listen to this, holy cow, we're on a lot of places now because I've been working away in the background trying to keep spreading the word. So we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartMedia, iHeartRadio. We're on Stitcher now. We're on Amazon Music. We're on what's the Amazon book thing?
Oh, Audible.
Audible. We're on Audible. So you have no excuse if you want to listen to us. Go all these little platforms, search for Waffle Box, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button, whatever it is. Tell your friends, tell your family. Get these people listening and watching this show at waffleboxpod.com. All the links are all available there. I have been Mike Fish, and he has been, I always fuck up with the mirroring. There it is. He has been Kush Hayes. But until next week, don't forget, take care of yourselves. And each other.